In this session, we are going to set up SSH key authentication so we don't get prompted for the password every time we are logging in remotely to the Ubuntu server. So the first thing that we're going to do, we're going to head over to the search bar and we're going to type Powershell. Going to press enter. And next we are going to open a second terminal. For this one, we're going to open the command prompt. So type command and press enter. All right, so in the command prompt terminal, we are going to type PowerShell, all right, to get PowerShell going in both terminals. So with this terminal, now I'm going to log in remotely into the server. So I'm going to say SSH, enter my username and the IP address of the server. I'm going to enter a password, and I have successfully logged into the server. So on the first terminal, I'm going to generate an SSH key. What I want to do now, I want to create a directory called .ssh. So I'm going to say mkdir.ssh. And I'm going to press enter. Okay, so that directory is going to be created under my home directory, under my username home directory. This is done in the local system. So next I'm going to cd into .ssh, and here what I'm going to do, I'm going to generate the key. So I'm going to say ssh dash keygen, and I'm going to press enter. And this is going to prompt me if this is the location for the certificate. I'm going to press enter. For the passphrase, it's important that you leave it blank. So I'm going to press enter and then enter again. And so the key has been generated. So now I'm going to do an ls of the current directory, and notice that I have two different files now, one ID RSA and one ID RSA.pub. So this is private and public key authentication. So the private key stays in our system, and so what we're going to do now, we're going to, in order to authenticate using these keys, we're going to copy the public key to the Ubuntu server. So now I'm going to do SCP, secure copy, to copy the key. So I'm going to say .id rsa.pub, and I'm going to copy to my remote server. So I'm going to say jsmith.192, enter your IP address here, and then column, and I'm going to place it inside the home, my username, .ssh directory. All right, so it is important that this directory has already been created on your Ubuntu server. So let's make sure that we have that directory created. So I'm going to go back into the first terminal, and I'm going to do an ls-l.ssh, and notice that the directories hasn't been created. So I'm going to say make dir .ssh. All right, so let's do ls-l.ssh again, and now we have the directory created. So let's go ahead and execute the command to copy the file. It is important that you give the slash at the end to tell the command that this is a directory. So I'm going to press yes to continue, and I'm going to enter the password for the remote system. All right, so the key has been copied. Let's go back and make sure that we have the key copied. So I'm ls-l.ssh, and that is the key. So the next thing that we need to do, we need to create a file inside this directory called authorize underscore keys. So I'm going to say touch. Actually, what I'm going to do, I'm going to say cat id underscore rsa.pub, and I'm going to redirect the output into a file called authorize underscore keys. And I'm going to press enter. And of course, I need to cd into .ssh. And let me go ahead and recall the command and press enter. Let's do ls-l, and now we have this authorize underscore keys file, The next thing that we want to do, we want to give the right permissions for this file, so we are the only ones who are able to read and write to the file. So I'm going to cd up one directory, and I'm going to do chmod 0600 to everything inside SSH. All right, so let's do ls-l, and now we are the owner of the file. We only read and write, and we are going to give 700 permission to the .ssh directory. So notice that now we have a read, write, and execute to the .ssh directory. The next thing that we want to do, we want to try to log in, and we shouldn't get prompted for a password. So I'm going to say SSH jsmith at 192.168.1.5, and we are in.